3 engines up and burning. 3, 2, 1, and liftoff of Space Shuttle Discovery, beginning America's new journey to the moon, Mars, and beyond. And the vehicle has cleared the tower.
My dream was always to work for NASA.
3 engines on Discovery are now throttling down to 2/3 throttle to prepare the spacecraft to pass through the area of maximum air pressure and go supersonic.
Why did I want to become an astronaut? The United States and Russia were in this tremendous space race, and you see these Mercury 7 astronauts in these silver suits, and the amazing things they're doing, and how dangerous it was. And this was, us against the evil empire back then, And so I try to teach students and engineers, the right way to fail. Failing in a laboratory, when you're exploring, when you're testing the boundaries, and to do it safely. If you don't do that, you're beating the joy out of learning, and you're driving these kids away from learning and teaching themselves.
To go farther, we must be able to sustain missions of greater distance and duration. We must use the resources we find at our destinations. We must overcome radiation, isolation, gravity, and extreme environments like never before. These are the challenges we face to push the bounds of humanity. We're going to the moon.
This is Mission Specialist Charlie Camarda.
You're laying on your back, and you just wait as they go through all the checks.
There's going to be a couple surprise birds here.
But if you see vultures circling on top of your vehicle, might be a day you might want to scrub.
I spoke with former space shuttle astronaut Charles Camarda.
Really, it's getting that muscle mass back, getting that bone density back so you don't feel as frail, you don't hurt yourself.
This is a moment for America to celebrate.
Elon Musk saved the U.S. space program. If it wasn't for Elon Musk, we would not be able to fly U.S. astronauts from U.S. soil to the International Space Station. I love to do things that are impossible. And so, you feel nervous. You may even feel a little scared. You're going to have setbacks. You may even have failures. But you got to dig deep, and you got to be motivated to do this. When I decided to be an astronaut, I said, I'm going to take my daughter on this journey. And she's going to look at her father, who's afraid of heights, can't swim, and is claustrophobic. And if I could do this, you could do this.
How big of a setback was this?
Starship SpaceX has been failing big. I believe they could fail small, fast, and cheap instead of large failures, but they've been very successful.
What was the physical and psychological adjustment for you, like coming back to Earth?
I flew on Columbia Challenger right after the Columbia accident, only 14 days in space. And so it didn't take a bad hit on my body. Usually your balance is a little off when you first come back. If you're trying to create a story, and I call Flight Rationale a story, if the same exact failure happened on the next mission, were you going to risk another crew?
And Charles, what are you looking forward to when they do finally get this launch going?
There's lots of things for them to do, lots of biology experiments, medical experiments, life science experiments, and then also you have the maintenance of the International Space Station, which could potentially cause them to do a spacewalk, which is every astronaut's dream.
Here we go, 16 minutes away. Charlie, as somebody who has experienced that, walk us through what this is like now.
For our flight right after the Columbia accident, when we were going through the entry phase, it was really critical. It was crucial, especially for our families back on Earth.
They lit that bottle rocket, man. It's exciting when you're a mile and a half right there in the front row of the photo deck.
It's pretty exciting, but it's also exciting for the people watching. Great light show, the ground's vibrating.
Charles, you said we're hoping for a nice soft landing in the Pacific. It looks like they got that.
Just like the prior launch, that Crew 9, Dragon 9 that came in with Butch and Sonny. It was beautiful.
What was your takeaway from part one right there, listening to Butch and Sonny?
What I would have expected them to say. They were very positive. I'm glad that they're safe. I'm glad that they're back. I'm glad that they're healthy. But there are issues. There are issues with NASA. There are issues with Boeing. And they won't talk about it.
1.5 minutes since launch, Discovery's already consumed more than 2.25 million pounds of propellant. It weighs less than half of what it did at liftoff. Speed now 2,000 miles per hour. Altitude 18 miles, 14 miles northeast of the Kennedy Space Center.